Welcome to CTV News Your Canada. It's Wednesday, September 17th. We'll bring you profiles of fascinating Canadians and stories about your community. Thanks for watching.
What do we got? Holy man.
Peter Quietini is loading up these dumbbells into his backpack, but he's not going to the gym. He's going for a hike. The blind Calgarian is training for the adventure of a lifetime, preparing to summit Mount Kilimanjaro next month.
Just because the likes of me can't see doesn't mean that I can't do things that you might not expect.
But he won't be alone. 10 other hikers from Canada and the U.S. are joining him. The group is attempting to break a world record as the largest team of visually impaired climbers to scale Africa's highest peak. It's a long way up, nearly 5,900 meters to the top, as part of the Lomosho route.
That's been on my bucket list for years.
Desiree Dion is a fellow blind hiker from Lacombe. She says reaching the summit will be a dream come true.
When you see someone you don't understand, it's very easy to judge their capabilities. It's nice to be able to show people it's possible to do things in spite of differences.
And other blind climbers like Tammy Adams from Toronto say traveling as part of a team will actually heighten her senses.
You know, make sure you're lifting up your feet and you're aware of your surroundings and you're listening.
Quietini relies on bells to listen to those around him and a hiking pole to hold on to a sighted guide in front. His wife won't be making the trip to Africa, but she's taken pride in keeping him safe during training.
Communication is everything. He wants to know what he might trip over to avoid a problem. He needs to know where the trail's very narrow and he might fall off the side.
My feet just have to accommodate all the variability in the trail.
And although it's an adjustment, these hikers are determined to show what's possible.
It does send a message that we are capable.
Go for it. I mean, take the opportunity while you can.
It's going to be extremely exhilarating.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
The background in this video posted to Justin Bieber's Instagram may look familiar. The Stratford singer stopped by Chicago pub in Cambridge Wednesday evening.
It was kind of surreal because he walked in like any old customer, any regular customer. We weren't expecting him because he wasn't in Cambridge yet, wasn't known. It was crazy.
When we see him the first time, he said, come and, he said, tell my kid, oh, come, give me a hug. Oh, man, he's so nice, you know, and they're so happy.
He started by shooting pool.
Some customer, young people, they recognize him. But some maybe like we have a police, right? So they maybe they not recognize him or something. Yeah. So there's nobody bother him at all.
Following up with a private karaoke session where he sang songs off his newly released album.
Like water to a flower, I know you need. We don't think it's like promotion or something like that. You know what I mean? Just like really happy and proud because he come here to enjoy.
Staff even snapped a picture with him.
We didn't want to bother him too much when he was here, but when he was leaving, we asked for a photo altogether.
Justin's visit to Cambridge didn't end here. On Thursday afternoon, he and his wife also made a stop at a local coffee shop. No stranger to celebrity customers, with The Handmaid's Tale previously shot in the area, staff at Monogram Coffee Roasters say it was a welcome surprise when the Biebers stopped by.
They just casually walked in and were like, hey, is it cool if we grab a couple coffees? I'm like, of course, come on in. Justin just got a black iced coffee. Haley got like a shaken espresso.
Despite the couple's laid-back attitude, the Monogram crew say excitement was in the air.
Yeah, we could feel it, and we were like, wow. But they were very genuine, very warm, and of course, talking about espresso and coffee. I shook their hands and said, hey, and do you mind if I take a photo? And they were very happy about doing it, and were lovely.
That photo racking up over 35,000 likes on Instagram.
Everyone's kind of reached out and said, you know, how exciting it is, not only for our business, but for our family as well.
We've got, you know, a little more traction because of it, which is quite lovely for any business.
The singer even acknowledging the photo by sharing it to his story Tuesday afternoon.
I think it's going to be a phenomenal thing. I don't know what it'll mean yet. It's only been up for an hour, but we'll see.
Kara Smap, CTV News, Cambridge.
It feels like you could walk right in, a doctor's office, a church, even the steps to a neighbor's home. But these scenes are small, intricate, and made to fit in the palm of your hand.
It really is it's a collaborative work between Nikki DiMaggio, who's a photographer, and myself. It's really a display of fairy doors, and then the miniatures kind of go with it.
Jennifer Eames is the architect. inspired by her childhood basement, a church pew, and even teddy bear picnics. Every setting tells a story.
This is the very first time I've been showcased. I was thrilled when they accepted my proposal. People have been so kind and so generous with their feedback.
Inspiration comes from all sorts of places: a family teapot, a piece of music, or a memory of home growing up.
We had a ping pong table. These are all the albums that I loved listening to. So there's everything from the Monkees to Cat Stevens to
There are other pieces too, which became deeply personal.
The doctor's office ended up being quite therapeutic for me because I had started to make it just as I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So sitting in rooms waiting for doctors and specialists to come in, I had something to do. I looked around the room and go, oh, there's a glove dispenser on the wall. How am I going to make that in miniature?
Each display can take days or weeks to complete. Eames says it all comes down to details.
To me, I want them to be as realistic as possible. Even though some of them are whimsical, like the teddy bear's picnic, I still want the sandwich to look like a sandwich or the bag of chips to look like a bag of chips.
She hopes her exhibit serves as a reminder that magic can be found in the smallest of places. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Dartmouth.
With this, we know that we are giving the very best possible care to our patients and community.
Heart disease is one of the leading causes of death in Canada. That's why prevention is key. And now, a new plan launched at the University of Ottawa Heart Institute. The goal is to screen 1 million people for heart disease.
It's called Your Heart, Your Institute, and Our Future Together because it's about people's heart health and trying our commitment to you and your heart health. It's about the Institute being the People's Institute, and it's about working together for the future.
The plan also includes expanding telecardiac care and the Canadian Women's Heart Health Centre.
It's a bold forward look at some of the things that we want to focus on over the next 5 years.
As he's doing his blood pressure.
Mobile units are a key part of the strategy, bringing heart screening to community centres and public venues to reduce barriers.
Currently we have a mobile unit that does valve screening. So we go out to community centres, sometimes public sites like malls.
But to reach 1 million, they'll need to up the intensity, adding more tests, more sites, and more staff.
The screening we would do with 1 Million Hearts is a little bit more intensive, but we plan to use that same model to go out into the community and do screening at those sites.
The Heart Institute says much of heart disease development happens silently over years, so this data will be crucial to identifying risk early enough to act.
We know that people who have heart disease, often it goes undetected for a very, very, very long time, often decades. So we need information about those risk factors in order to make earlier decisions. And that's going to help us, intervene and prevent, hopefully, heart disease from ever developing. But to do that, we need to have that information. We need to collect that data. And right now, we just don't.
The hard work has just begun.
The University of Ottawa Heart Institute handles more than 240,000 patient visits annually. Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
The Premier at the controls trying to plow a straighter furrow than his political rivals.
Felt great. You just have a real respect for what the farmers do.
It's an annual tradition. MPPs ditch the suits and head out of the city to reconnect with rural voters at the International Plowing Match.
Thank you.
This was the first time Doug Ford has spoken publicly about the Prime Minister leaving development of the Ring of Fire off a list of nation-building projects to accelerate.
It's all right. I talked to him. It's going to be on the next tranche.
Ford expects something around Grey Cup time. That's mid-November. The Premier also confident Mark Carney will back his pet project, a tunnel under Highway 401.
Considering it's the busiest highway in North America and 50% of the GDP comes through Toronto, and it's costing us $58 billion of lost productivity, I think it's pretty national.
The opposition thinks it shows priorities that are out of whack with what people need.
When you start to clutter the list with what I would consider vanity projects like that, then you're not doing anybody any favors.
The Liberal presence at the plowing match was muted. Outgoing leader Bonnie Crombie sat this one out.
She just went through probably one of the most difficult times you can go through as a political leader. She needs some time.
Liberal MPPs who ran against Crombie not sure if they'll take another shot at leading the party.
I am thinking and trying to decide what I want to do.
And
Adol's over here too. Adol, are you thinking about going again?
Too early to say.
This field trip for MPPs is the first time they've been together in these numbers since the House let out in June. They won't be back at Queen's Park until October 20th. Frustrating for opposition MPPs who'd like to be back in the legislature, poking holes in the Ford government record.
We should be passing legislation right now to legalize housing in this province.
Expect a continued focus this fall on a redrawing of school boards, the possible end of trustees. The Minister of Education defends going after small expenses filed by trustees operating in a $31 billion budget.
How do you go to a parent in a school who's being asked to give money and say, don't worry, it's only $1.22? And that is the exact reason why we're taking steps to get the system under control.
The new model for school boards will be announced before the end of the year. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Hello, my lovelies. How are you all today? Say hi, Jimmy boy.
Hi, Jimmy boy.
A father and daughter in Scotland, charming hearts around the world with their daily routines.
We've sort of always had a close bond, eh?
Yeah.
11-year-old Carly and her father, Ryan, have picked up millions of views as they, for example, make dinner together.
He would never have crispy onions on his baked potato.
Also their bedtime ritual, where Dad brushes Carly's hair to the best of his ability.
Say, like, Mum's done my hair now. Dad hasn't done it. Apologies about my hair, by the way.
You look like you've been dragged through a bush.
Well, no matter who does her hair, their many followers don't seem to mind. One commenter writing, I understand 30% of what they're saying, but I love it.
We try to slow our speaking down a wee bit to help people understand us a little bit better.
Nah, I say just do it your way.
Hi, my lovelies. I'm doing a wee bit on how I do my makeup.
For the record, Carly's catchphrases like hello my lovelies and Jimmy boy first started when she began making her own little sketch videos in the 2020 lockdown. As you may have noticed, her dad's name is Ryan, not Jimmy boy. But that just kind of came organically one day from this character.
You look all so grown up.
But as you can tell from this clip of Ryan laughing through tears when seeing Carly dressed up for her school dance, they are not always being silly. This moment even got the attention of Khloe Kardashian, who commented, "What an incredible relationship, heart, 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 heart."
Say hi, Jimmy boy.
Hi, Jimmy boy.
And even though Carly says sometimes it can be confusing to be recognized on the street or at school, here is why she enjoys making these videos with her father.
My dad's my best friend, and that's why, like, we can make someone's day happy. That makes me happy.
You have to remember that this is a man who, of a certain age, you may not even know who he is. So let me give you a bit of a history lesson. Tributes are pouring in for the late, great Robert Redford. Ron Howard says he supercharged America's independent film movement, an artistic game changer. Co-star Barbra Streisand called him one of the finest actors ever. Another co-star, Jane Fonda, says she can't stop crying. He stood up for an America we have to keep fighting for.
Well, that ought to do it. Use enough dynamite there, bud?
There are movie stars, and then there was Charles Robert Redford Jr. Born in Santa Monica, California in 1936, his acting career began on television in 1959. He moved on to Broadway, and then came the movies. His good looks cemented his leading man status.
Robert Redford was someone who I think wasn't always given credit for his enormous talent as an actor, simply because he was too good looking. He had the Brad Pitt syndrome that people, I think for a while, just refused to take him as seriously as he deserved to be taken as an actor. But then you look at those films and you place them back to back to back. You see how different they all are, and you see that the common link is Robert Redford.
Marvin, what do we do now?
He made his directorial debut with the family drama Ordinary People in 1980. It garnered him his first Academy Award.
I think probably the high points are ones where I was able to make a film that I was told I couldn't. Their performances I'm pleased with, but I'd rather not get into that.
Redford stood for many issues, his star power attracting attention to causes which included political activism, the environment, Native American and Indigenous peoples' rights, and LGBTQ rights. In 1981, he created the Sundance Institute, named after his Sundance character, and in 1985, the Sundance Film Festival was born, taking place where he lived in Utah in the middle of winter.
Our job and our role is to create a space and a platform to bring new voices and new ways of seeing the world using independent film.
Redford was married twice and had 4 children and 7 grandchildren. He died in his sleep this morning at home in Utah, surrounded by those he loved. Robert Redford was 89.
So Redford did not attend the Sundance Film Festival this year, but it released a statement today writing, "We will miss his generosity, clarity of purpose, curiosity, rebellious spirit, and his love for the creative process. The festival will continue guided by his remarkable legacy." For CTV News, I'm Andrea Case.
A celebration of man's best friend at the RCMP Heritage Center on Saturday. After years of work, an unveiling was held for the Hero by My Side statue, a permanent reminder of the contributions of police service dogs. Gary Carlson, a retired RCMP member, came up with the idea and found an artist in Alberta to create the sculpture.
Found an amazing artist who did the sculpture, Diane Anderson, out of Alberta, and a 3-year process of getting this done all the way down to getting it, picking it up just last week from the foundry outside of Calgary.
The RCMP has been using German Shepherds as service dogs since the 1930s. Police pioneer John Causey was one of the first RCMP dog handlers. He also kept these dogs at his home. His youngest son, Bruce, developed a dependent bond with the breed.
I lived in Malta for a year, and I lived in Singapore for a year, and that's the only time in my life I did not have a dog. I'm on my 9th and 10th German Shepherd right now in the last 70 years.
Almost 100 years later, even with access to the latest technology, these dogs still pose a very important trait, being able to pick up on scents. They've saved thousands of people in vulnerable positions. Just over in Kamloops a few nights prior, a young boy was found safe thanks to a police dog.
A young boy lost 11 o'clock at night. They couldn't find him. The dog was there very, very quickly, picked up the track and found him. So the question is, what would we have done without that?
Even though Bruce wasn't in the police force, he knows what it's like to have a hero by his side.
If you have not had a German Shepherd beside you, I can't explain it to you. It's a 4-month-old pup or a 12-year-old white-muzzled veteran. They've got your back. You've read this before, but they do literally love you more than they love themselves.
The statue now stands among other pillars of the forest, which is found along the Princess Royal Walk at the RCMP Heritage Center. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Spooky season is back. While people are eager to enjoy traditional fall fun, some pumpkin patches may not be so ready.
It has been a challenging growing season.
Playing a major role in pumpkin health, Tam Anderson says the weather has been far from ideal.
Spring started off really dry, and then we have had a frost every month this year.
Anderson owns Prairie Gardens, a 70-year-old you-pick farm.
Pumpkins are just a traditional fall thing, and the beauty of the fall colors and pumpkins and corn patches and apples. That fall vibe is so important to a you-pick farm that's involved in agritourism like we are.
Her farm isn't the only one adapting.
We have hauled in almost 300,000 liters of water to irrigate our stuff this year.
Last year, Mill Tower Ranch kept its doors closed. With hardly any water, the farm grew only 150 pumpkins, rather than its usual 3,000 to 4,000.
Go and open up, and then people come out and, oh, sorry, within an hour we're sold out. It just doesn't work. I didn't want to disappoint people.
Other local businesses, too, are trying to accommodate to people's pumpkin desires one way or another.
Well, sometimes we just buy extra pumpkins where they can just hold the pumpkin. It has that same vibe.
Despite the pumpkin setback, a fun-filled autumn season is still promised.
The whole extended family actually gets to spend some time together, making some memories and having the best time of their lives at a pumpkin farm.
Sasha Pietramola, CTV News, Edmonton.
Farmers invest millions of dollars in harvest equipment. However, the combine attracting the most attention in this formation goes back to the 1960s.
My dad used to own a combine just like this. He bought it in 1962.
I remember him telling me that it was the same. The price was the same as the number, $9,200.
Larry Verhelst recently found a Massey Ferguson Super 92 at an auction. It brought back memories, so he picked it up for $1,500.
It had been stored in a steel building for the last 45 years. And it was the motor was totally seized. So
the restoration was a family affair.
Take the wheels off and a bunch of shields, and there's a lot of work to get this engine out. Me and our hired man and my nephews and brother. A couple days to get it out, a couple days to get it back in. So
after adding a bit of oil, it was ready to go.
In these spray cans, I put a half a jug of oil and just used it and sprayed it on all the bearings and just held it there for a while, and everything got lubricated and took all the noise out of it. It was pretty good.
Of course, the old combine is a lot smaller than the machines used today.
I could do maybe 50, 60 acres in a day. Now you can, with a new machine, you can do it in how long, Ross? 2-3 hours you can do 40, 60 acres.
It's like driving a classic convertible with the top down. The old combine isn't practical for today's farming, but the family says it has never seen their father happier. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, near Radville.
Yvonne LaHoo doesn't need to watch a classic war movie on his phone.
My God, it was so well done.
To remember how The Longest Day inspired him as a kid to craft discarded cardboard into toy tanks.
And I would put a firecracker and make it realistic. I would blow the tank apart.
Yvonne never outgrew his interest in the military, and at 19, enlisted in the Navy.
So I've never seen the ocean before, and this would be a great thing to see the world.
While he proudly served at sea for the next 30 years, Yvonne started struggling after he retired.
I was suffering from trauma and PTSD, but my brain started playing tricks on me.
Until he happened upon this picture of a Second World War ship that he couldn't get out of his head.
Wow. The ship was named after my own town. And I didn't know about this.
But Yvonne did feel, for the first time in a long time, inspired.
I says, I'm going to build it.
Had you ever built anything like this before?
No.
So he thought of how he once was as a kid, before contacting a naval museum, requesting a copy of the ship's blueprints, and started handcrafting countless components from wood, and began building a boat from scratch.
The light bulb comes on, and I says, yes, and it works.
And after spending almost 500 hours in his garage, Yvonne felt transformed.
I was pretty amazed with myself on how it turned out.
So he made 8 more, supporting his recovery and inspiring a renewed sense of purpose through service.
To build as many lost or forgotten Canadian warships and bring them back to life.
And now Yvonne's donating his first model to his hometown and the others to museums to honor the sailors who worked on them and inspire the civilians served by them.
They all have a story to be told.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Surrey.